Meeting the Amherst Township Trustees called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Abraham?
Here.
Lynch?
Here.
Euring?
Yes.
And I am also here. We have the meeting minutes from December 9th. We have a motion to approve. And
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Okay, and our financials, I have, the payment listing is in front of you. This includes the year-end pay for our zoning commission and our BZA. And then some, there's one, the half-month payrolls in there. There is really nothing else out of the ordinary. Catching up on everybody's mileage, travel reimbursement for the year. All that's in there. And then our year-to-date revenue is $1,822,585.50. And our expenditures are $1,208,536.40.
That's through these warrants.
That
in
is
front of
through
us.
the 23rd. I really have, a lot of the bills are paid. Should be minimal. I think I have a Brightspeed that'll come through before the end of the year for the phones and Delta Dental. But other than that, I think I've pretty much got everything paid for through the end of the year.
And that should be for the gas tax. That's the payment we received this month. That'll be the final payment on gas tax then too. Is that correct, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. And then did the, like the stormwater mini grant?
Yes, that
Does-
came in.
Does that go in, but I don't see it here, does that go in where the roads, where the expenditure was?
It just
'Cause I don't-
goes into, no, there's no way to balance that out. It goes into local government,
Okay.
or, let me see where it goes.
Yeah, I just didn't see it on the
Under
stormwater
general-
fund.
I don't have my computer in front of me to tell you exactly where it is.
I know, and it gets more detailed. That's okay, as long as you've got it there. Because since I saw that no revenue there, I
Yeah,
just wondered where the money flowed
I know it's
to.
other governmental, federal, or local dollars is where I have
Okay.
put it.
Are there any other questions on you got the payment listing too? Is there any other questions on the financials?
I do have one. Denny's last check is in there since I knew he was going to be here, so I went ahead and processed it so he could take it
For the
with him.
signatures?
Yeah. For his his last paycheck is in that group of checks.
Gotcha. Okay, now I'm going to make a motion to approve the financial statement, the payment of the bills with reservation as presented in the documents provided by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
What's the number on that,
That is
Chris?
12/8. The minutes were 12/7. And then you have the credit card report in front of you as well for November.
Yep, and all the receipts were provided. And the total expenditure is $240.96. I'm going to make a motion then that the credit card account transaction detail has been reviewed per policy and the card statement is accepted as presented, subject to investigation.
Second.
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
And I did have, Chris, based on the information you had sent by email is there is a formal resolution here in addition for the temporary annual appropriations measure for 2026 per Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.38. I'll just make a motion to bring that to the floor.
Where are we at there?
If you look in the packet, David, there's a formal resolution, temporary annual
Oh, the
appropriation.
appropriation, yeah.
Okay,
Appropriation one.
it lines up with the agenda. So the total appropriations for the year at 3.15 million, none of the accounts go over or come up short. Realize the big difference in there, the significant higher expenditure is going to be the roughly $1.3 million for the new tanker truck. And just so you're aware, Chris, there is a possibility, most likely, that truck will roll over into the next year. When they had given us that time window of 30 to 38 months, and I know that which we'll cover later because there's two other resolutions dealing with that tanker. The fire department will be going up to Wisconsin to Pierce Manufacturing. I believe it's January 5th through the 7th. And the cost of that original bid price included 2 trips for up to, I think it's up to 5 personnel. But when we get to that point, I've got a copy of the purchase agreement with it. But there's most likely, based on what we're hearing, it will go into next year. So, this will get adjusted at the end of the year. We probably won't spend that this year. It'll go into the next year.
Right. That's good. My investments can keep
Right,
earning.
right. Well, and that'll be good. I was hoping to get put together, but didn't, going through the revenues and expenses, for the past years up to this point, so we can see they're pretty much staying steady, because, the concern is, once we pay for that vehicle, we're probably going to be, between fire and EMS, deficit spending, but there's enough healthy balance. There'll be a while, but just so that people can plan ahead to decide, at what point do they go back to the voters, whether it's going to be, a new levy on that. Now, I can't recall if for the townships, if they eliminated the replacement or not. There were all sorts of changes that we summarized before, and the changes on levy. So that's just something we have to watch when we get closer to it. But without reading through each one, and I don't know for Jeremy, there should have been a copy for you. I see Kirsten's there were 2 public copies out here, but the resolutions are in there with each fund that we've got and what the proposed expenditures are.
Right, and I based this off of what cash is actually in the account.
Right, and we also, the plow truck, as you're aware, we're working through now with legal on that, and unless the board decides they want to go into executive session, or if they're just comfortable knowing that I'm working with the prosecutor, I did brief our road superintendent, Kevin Smarsh, and Linda's what's going on. Marked everything that it is still confidential at this time, but it looks like we're getting movement forward to get that done. It's just that it's going to be a matter, we're still holding the line as far as this is what the bid price is, this is what the agreement is. You, who accepted the bid, chose the subcontractor, but obviously the subcontractor is willing to outfit the plow truck with all the equipment, but, costs have gone up and he needs more money, and we're like, well, that's not from us. And so we're working, I think we've got a pretty good plan, but, the details are still to be worked out with the prosecutor on this as to what goes on. So
I just
even
wanted
that
to-
truck will get,
Right.
that
I just
expenditure,
wanted you-
$47,000 will get
I know
delayed.
you're aware that it's temporary, and once the
Yeah.
year end is closed and I see what cash the permanent will change, but this is what we have right now.
We should know before the end of March, but, this thing's been dragged out
It's
for
in there.
months already. Yeah,
It's
better
in
to
there.
have it in there, because we'd be fortunate if it comes the way we expected. We wanted that truck now. Kevin mentioned at the last meeting, he had to change on one of the vehicles, the new power steering pump was leaking. We can't afford to have a truck down, when they've got to be out there with the weather events coming in. But without reading through the detail of each fund, are there any other discussion for the temporary appropriations, recognizing it's temporary until the end of March of 2026?
No. No.
All right, then roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
And that number?
Is 121025.
Okay, then the next one is, I'll make a motion to designate the chairman as a signer for the Ohio Public Works for 2026, and the other trustees as alternates.
Wait a minute, where are we here?
Yeah, what, item G, because I guess I should have backed up. Was there any correspondence, Chris?
I just forwarded that one to you from the Community Development Department.
Oh, that just today?
Yeah, and I
that's for
wasn't
the-
sure if you got it, because when you read it, it says it went to the trustees, and it only came to me.
The same one they sent to you, they must have had a blanket, because all it says is you, and it went to my junk folder, so
Okay.
I pulled it over. But yeah, what Chris is referring to, which David and Denny probably got a copy of, a copy was forwarded over to Jeremy, is the county is updating their subdivision review regulations. The biggest change appears to be they took the engineers' requirements and the county planning requirements, and they consolidated them into one document. I know there was always some complaints from developers of some conflicts, and where they saw other areas for improvements, they did. The email says that for those that have specific road requirements within the townships, is those road requirements will still take precedent over and above the requirements that are in the county subdivision regulations. And when I looked at the old regulations versus the new ones, it looks like originally the county had, it generally just said flexible pavement, which to me is asphalt, not concrete, is that they required 12 inches minimum of soil stabilization. That's been taken out now. Now they go through some proof rolling that's being required prior, and if it doesn't pass the proof roll, it's got to be repaired. And the proof roll would be with the road superintendent present, but realize our regulations will actually take precedent over the county's regulations. But you'll want to read through that in detail. As far as what's changed, Ryan, you're going to want to become familiar with those county regulations also. These are not approved yet, but they were sent out to all of the townships. Okay, it has no impact on our local zoning. We still have all the authority over local zoning. So we'll skip. I'm sorry I got out of line there with the correspondence. But now on Public Works, did you have a question then, David?
No.
Okay, did someone second that?
Yes, Denny did.
Any? Okay. Yeah, and the only thing on that, realize OPWC, they always require the chairman, but the reason we put in here it can be the other trustees. The chairman's not available, and we need to get those documents signed. We're saying we're allowing the authority of one of the other trustees to do that, and that'll always come into Linda and Kevin, so they'll know when it's in and when it's due. So roll call, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Abraham? Euring?
Yes.
That would be 1211.
1211.
Okay, now, I guess this is where I've got to ask the trustees if there's a need for an executive session tonight. There'd only be two items if you wanted to. One is on the wage classes and any adjustments in personnel. The other would be, like I said, the truck, only if you wanted more detail. And to maybe help you make that decision, because I don't think it's necessary. Based on the last executive session that we had on personnel and wage classes, is I did update the spreadsheet, which you've got in your packet. And since there was a wide spread in some of the wage classes that were there, is added some intermediate wage classes, specifically C3 and A2M. Since we had also discussed the promotion of a couple of employees, instead of jumping up to the higher weight, they'll still get an increase over and above cost of living, but it's not going to be to the very next wage class that we originally had there. So it's up to you if you guys want an executive session or if you're okay just moving forward.
I'm okay moving forward.
Okay, you okay then, David?
Yeah.
Okay. So just cross that one out, Chris, for H. And also cross out I, returning. Okay, so you can, these are stapled together. If you need to pull them apart, you can, but the first row is 2026 and the row right below that is 2025. This just shows the historical changes in both wage rates, wage classes, and the cost of health insurance for both the single plans and family plans and how those have changed over the years. You can see in there that I mentioned the two new wage classes. The one in A2M, as in Mary, is $32.18 per hour, and then C3 is $22.25 per hour. So C3 is in between wage class C and D, and the A2M between wage class A1 and A2. The health care this year went up just a hair under 13%. The Social Security for the past 12 months ending in November, and this was just released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics on December 18th, was 2.8%. 2.7%, and then for Social Security, which is just a subset of the Consumer Price Index for all urban and clerical workers, was 2.8. Now, I do know the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and in the document I provided to you for Social Security and Bureau of Labor Statistics, is they keep giving cautions on that 2.7 as if it might be higher. But because of the 43-day government shutdown, is they didn't get the surveys, all the surveys they were supposed to for October. So they kind of did I'll just call it a mishmash there. And if you look even at the charts, they didn't even put a number in there for October as far as what the CPI would be. So right now, though, it is 2.7. The other document for comparison when we get to the point of individuals is I did get some additional information in the compensation for Lorraine County area benchmarks, because our competition is really the communities around us. And you can see the city of Amherst for 2026 is a 3.5% increase. City of Elyria, these are for the unelected employees of Elyria Municipal Court. The ASCII union will actually get a larger amount. So the court is getting 3%, and that's what pretty much many of the other non-union employees got. And Elyria is going through a full-scale review of how they compare to other communities of similar size. Lorraine County was 3.5%. Department of Defense, I believe the Senate's now passed this, but when I had put this together, the House had voted a 3.8% increase. The city of Avon is a 3% increase. I did not get the information from the city of Lorraine, nor I had also asked for Elyria Township, because they had asked for all our information, which I provided to them. And asked them to reciprocate, didn't receive it, sent a second email, haven't seen it. and couldn't wait and hold up on that, so I don't know where they're sitting. But this was, as far as comparison, you can see for the 5 entities that were able to get information, it varied between 3%, 3.8. The recommendation is a 3% increase, and I think the trustees were pretty much in agreement of that based on what I heard at the executive session, but we have to make that decision in public. I'm going to stop for a minute and ask, is there any concern or any changes you want to make as far as the hourly wage rates?
I believe we discussed those at the prior meeting, and we were pretty much in agreement with those. I see no reason we would make any adjustments at this time.
Okay, other than it's the 3%, David, in those 2 wage classes, that's what was happening.
Yeah, that's what I think we were at.
Okay, then I'm going to make a motion that the hourly rate for employee wage classes will be as indicated in the attached hourly rate trend analysis sheet.
So moved. Second.
Seconded.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes. Where are we at there, 1212?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, going on to item K. So this would appoint Kevin Smarsh as the road superintendent to be compensated at wage class A, which is Kevin's current wage class, so it's just a 3% increase. I'll make that motion.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes. 13. I'll make a motion to appoint Russell Rittenhour to the road crew to be compensated at a wage class A2.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes, and just so I'm keeping up with it, Chris, is that 1214?
I'll make a motion to appoint road crew position Gerald Sallin to be 2 point. Let me restart here. To appoint to the road crew Daryl Saladin to become compensated at a wage class $22.45 per hour and 16 hours PTO.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
I make a motion to appoint Chris Nyhart as fire prevention officer to be compensated, reappointed, and succeeded as indicated in the agreement with the City of Amherst Township Resolution 10619, 2026, $33.37 per hour and $25 per call truck fee. Will make that motion.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Yes.
Abraham, Lynch.
Yes.
I will make a motion to appoint George Ann Lynch as Township Administrative Assistant and Media Technology Operator to be compensated at wage class B1 up to 20 hours a week.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. I'm abstaining, sorry. I'm looking at the next one.
Okay, motion to appoint Ryan Valentin as Township Zoning Inspector to be compensated at wage class B up to 20 hours per week.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes. In the next one, this is reappointing zoning commission member Hank Harsar, and there is a prepared resolution in the packets here. And so I'm going to make a motion to appoint Hank Harsar to the zoning commission for a 5-year term beginning on January 1st of 2026.
Second.
Okay, hold on a second here.
Okay.
Just catch up here.
Are we at
1219.
1219?
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for keeping us on point. It's easy to get those.
Yes. Catch up, David.
Not yet. Looks like that, Denny did.
that up?
Okay, I'm about there. About there. Go
Lynch,
ahead.
Yes.
Abraham, Euring.
Yes. I will make a motion to appoint Bill Latrani to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a 5-year term beginning 1/1/2026.
Second.
12/20.
And there is a prepared resolution in there too, David.
Okay. The addendum. Who did that, Abraham?
Yeah, Denny did. Giving Chris a chance to catch up there too.
Euring. All righty, Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, I will make a motion to appoint Linda Ashley as Amherst Township Administrator and Director of Senior Services Office to be compensated at a wage class A2M,
Yes, this is the A2M, David. So I'll second that. just
not
so
to
we-
exceed 29 hours per week. An additional 16 hours of paid personal time off above personal policy allowance to be used in 2026.
I'll second that. We'll go into discussion here, Chris,
Okay.
to get this done. So that is 12/21.
Yes, it is.
Okay, this is the situation, we discussed this in executive session also, you have in your packets, and unfortunately I didn't copy this in color, but you can see the lighter shade, if you will, are the additional responsibilities. Sometimes you call it mission creep, but these are activities that must be done, that we've been having Linda do. In addition, as we discussed in executive session, I wanted Linda to start taking on some additional roles here, and we've added those. Also will go into the job description, that being doing the actual updates and administration on the website. You know, we've looked at getting external sources on that. We've used external sources in the past, but we found they're very costly, and we end up spending so much of our own employees' time proofreading them, providing the information, going over it, when we could have just done the change ourselves. So it's going to be the taking over some of the website there. Obviously, there'll be some additional training. Also, we want her to be training Morgan so that there's cross-training in this, so that once out of the office, we'll end up with 3 potential people that we'll have to have controls on, who actually has access, and whether at this point, we don't have a way of keeping a fingerprint, if you will, as to who's made the changes. She's also going to, the policy manual revisions, which we'll be going over later, is to start taking a more active role in the policy manual revisions, and also as these policy changes come up, instead of having me write all of the verbiage, is actually start making the recommendations of how that policy should be worded and put together and constructed, as we usually get these changes in statutes or something that we find out as we're actually in the operations where something needs to be cleaned up or clarified. So those, and Linda understands that. We had discussed all of those. So those are, in addition to what she had on there, is some of the other items that we're going to expect her to pick up as she gets into this promotion at A2M, which is the $32.18 per hour. Okay?
Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. 7:30, Neil.
Oh, thanks, David.
We'll call
can we
roll call.
finish?
You've got a
Yes.
motion and,
Euring,
yes.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And thanks, David. What David's brought up is we do have the need for a zoning amendment public hearing this evening. If you go to the back of your packets, the last two documents is what we have here. So we're going to, Chris, just suspend the regular meeting to go into the public hearing at 7:30. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, this public hearing involves a proposed amendment to the Amherst Township zoning resolution map that was initiated by the applicant, Britt Lilly of 245 Broadway in Amherst, Ohio. The amendment pertains to the following: rezone an approximate .39 acre portion of permanent parcel number 05-00-037-110-038, located at 245 Broadway, Amherst, Ohio, in Amherst Township, from the present classification of R2 medium-density residential to the proposed classification of R3 Broadway Taylor District. It is the applicant's intent to subdivide the parcel into 3 lots. One lot will have a 100-foot road frontage by 90 feet deep. One lot will be a 90-foot road frontage with 90-foot depth, and the remaining portion of the original parcel, and I'm not going to repeat the numbers, but it's the same, will be approximately 2.18 acres, having approximately 174.18 foot of frontage on Broadway. An approximate 4,037 square foot single-family residence exists on the 2.16 acre portion. The 2 smaller lots will be rezoned from the R2 medium density residential to R3 Broadway Taylor District. The remainder of the original lot will retain the R2 medium density residential zoning. The Broadway Taylor Residential District, which is R3, was created to accommodate single-family residential developments on 5,000 square foot lots that historically have existed and that are serviced by central water and sewer facilities. This district is only intended to be applied to lots along Taylor and Broadway roads. The medium-density residential district, R2, was created to accommodate single-family residential developments on 12,500 square foot lots that are serviced by central water and sewer facilities. This district is intended to be adopted in locations where this lot size prevails. All adjoining properties are zoned R3 with single-family homes along the road frontage. For the attached letter dated November 12, 2025, from Lorraine County Community Development Department staff to Lorraine County Planning Commission, the staff recommended to approve the amendment along with specific considerations. For the attached letter dated November 21, 2025, from Lorraine County Community Development Department, Lorraine County Planning Commission met on Thursday, November 20, 2025, and voted to approve the proposed amendment to the zoning resolution with considerations. The Amherst Township Zoning Commission held a public hearing on December 2, 2025 at Amherst Township. For a December 5th letter from the Zoning Commission chairperson, Mr. Lonnie Dillon, the Zoning Commission approved the requested amendment to the Amherst Township zoning resolution map, roll call being 5-0. The various correspondence are available and may be read for the public record. The public hearing shall provide an opportunity for any interested person to be heard per Ohio Revised Code Section 519.12H. Within 20 days after the public hearing, the trustee shall either adopt or deny the recommendation of the Zoning Commission or adopt some modification thereof. In the event the trustees adopt an amendment of the zoning resolution, the amendment effective date will be 30 days hence from such adoption. In the event the trustees elect to overrule or modify the recommendation of the Zoning Commission, the majority vote of the board shall be required. Wherein the trustees fail to obtain a majority vote, the recommendation of the Zoning Commission shall be considered as approved, with an effective date of any amendment of the zoning resolution occurring 30 days hence from the date of the public hearing. And you have in your packet, you can see which the trustees had seen in a previous meeting, what the actual zoning amendment public notice was that was posted out on the bulletin board, and then you've got screenshots in here for both the notice that was put on the township's website and also the township's social media Facebook page for the record. with that, I guess I don't see the applicant here, but I don't think with this one there was any real need for them to be here. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to speak on this? Okay, and how about the trustees? David?
More to add. Nothing more to add. They are a bit short, those lots. I checked the zone and it's under an R3, and it does give sufficient space in the front and in the back to meet the setbacks and still put a house on the lots.
Yeah, most likely a ranch house is what I expect. It's probably the longer lot. But yeah,
There is room for them. All right, I have nothing further to add.
okay. Well, with that, then there is a prepared resolution in your packet for the map amendment consideration for applicant Britt Lilly.
Do you want to go back? You want to end the public hearing? And
We will. What's in there, and we don't have to read it, are the actual documents from the county planning and the Lorraine County Community Development. Is there any other comment?
we have a hard copy of what you were reading. You know,
Yes,
usually you have-
yeah. It should be the last two documents in your packet, David. It would have been the
Got
second to last.
a resolution.
It would have been right on top of the resolution. Looks like this. Chris is handing you one.
I know what it looks like, but I don't see one in here. Unless, yes, there it is. There it is. Okay, I found it. It's sticking to the back there.
All right, then I'm going to close the public hearing at 7:37 PM.
Second.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion. We're just going to move back into the regular meeting. So let me know when you're ready there, Chris.
I'm ready.
I'm going to make a motion that in the interest of the public health and safety, the zoning commission's recommendation to approve the map amendment requested by the property owners. Well, actually, I should probably read the shortened version I put down there for you, Chris. I did put it on the agenda. I kind of took section 1 and 2 of the prepared resolution and put it together, so it will be, I think it's at the back. Let me find it. If you go to item LL, in the interest of the public health, safety, and general welfare, the zoning commission recommendation to approve the map amendment requested by the property owner shall be adopted. That'll be my motion.
Second.
You see, Chris, it does say C addendum for
Yep.
the. When we're ready, we'll take roll call. No, let's see, that's.
12/22/25.
Thank you.
Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Erie.
Yes.
Good job. Okay, we ready? Okay, we're back to item T as in Tom.
I make a motion to appoint Morgan Orozco as part-time administrative assistant to and media assistant of Amherst Township to be compensated at wage class C3 to assist the township administrator and operate technology during meetings and public hearings and storing electronic records.
Second.
Chris, there is a prepared resolution for this also, because again, we're taking it from part-time seasonal to an actual part-time position, so that makes her eligible then for the 2 hours per month PTO, and also if she chooses that option as far as the deferred comp. You know, I have not discussed that with Morgan, so I don't know where she's at there, but just so we're aware of what this change from a seasonal employee does. And that's my only comment, Chris.
Urick?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to continue the agreement with the Ohio Public Employees Deferred Compensation, establishing a deferred compensation benefit program for all Amherst Township employees. Maximum monthly employer match increased from...
Second.
Okay. All righty.
Wait, what?
100 to 150 in policy in 2023. Okay.
Urick?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes.
That was 1225.
That was 1224.
Oh, very... No.
V is 1224.
No.
Morgan?
1223 was the zoning change.
No,
That's 22.
that was 22.
Let me see here a second.
Linda was 21.
21. Okay, okay, 22. All right, you're right, you're right. Yeah. This was 23.
Morgan's 23. Deferred comp's 24. Well, the other one you're racing to is going to be 25.
Okay, well, we'll have to go back on that.
Are you caught up?
I think so.
Okay.
Take the glasses off so I can see here.
I'll make a motion that hospitalization, life, dental, prescription drug, and vision insurance coverage will be available for all elected officials. Elected officials receiving all these health benefits shall make a payroll contribution as indicated in the Amherst Township Policy Manual, with said payroll deduction beginning on the earliest possible date allowable by law. And again, that's referenced on the spreadsheet. So it is...
Second.
Okay, thank you. Give me a minute, Chris, I'll get there. So you've got it at $159.50 for the family plan. You see that?
Where is that at?
It's on the spreadsheet on
Which
page 2.
Oh, wow.
Which spreadsheet, sir?
It was the one that also has the wage classes
Oh,
on page 2 of that. Actually, it's page 1 of 2 because I stapled them backwards.
page. Oh, medical. Medical, okay.
Yeah, you
Gotcha.
see the $159.50 is the family plan, $79.75 for the single plan.
Gotcha.
Okay. That represent about 5% of the cost. Now, it's actually gone down because, looking back on it, I wish we would have chosen a different index, but we had to choose an index, so things have dropped down from what used to be about 10%. It's down to about 5% because the cost of health care is obviously outrunning the cost of, you know, the regular items, other items.
Gotcha.
That-
Good?
Yep, we're
Lynch?
good. Well, that was, let's see, yes.
This was 1225, yes.
Yep.
Lynch, okay. Abraham?
Yes.
Urick?
Yes. Okay, I will make a motion that hospitalization, life, dental, prescription drug, and vision insurance coverage will be available for all full-time employees. Full-time employees receiving these health insurance benefits shall make a payroll contribution as indicated in the Amherst Township Policy Manual.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
Okay, I will make a motion that secretarial services for the zoning boards will be paid at a Class B1 rate.
Second.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
I make a motion to continue relationship with the Ohio Township Association Risk Management Authority Insurance Pool.
Second.
The OTARMA. Discussion, roll call.
I'm getting there, David.
Okay.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Lynch.
Yes.
It's just racing.
David, he must have a hot date tonight.
Okay, what's next?
Yeah, the zoning resolution review, that's just here so that everybody's aware of it on their books, but Georgianne will be going through that on any updates. And I think she's got everything updated for everybody's books because you brought those in past meetings to get those done. So that's just a placeholder to make sure it is done. Also, the next one, AA, is that we have to put together the director and the listing of the elected officials and employees and get that posted. That'll be taken care of, and it's posted on the Amherst Township website. The township website domain name, that's just to keep that so someone else doesn't take it. And I think, Chris, you've got that
Yep.
set up for auto pay now anyway,
Yep.
so no one else can ever conscript our name and then use it for nefarious reasons. Training review, and Jeremy, this is something you're going to have to get used to. Very few of these items actually give you a certificate. So it's kind of, you take the training, send some notice to the fiscal officer you've done it, but that's about it. Some of this is required annual. So there's the National Incident Management training. This actually came out of the 9/11 occurrence. What's going to be required for you is the IS 700 training. There's other levels that first responders take, but essentially it's just going to let you know what your role is when an incident does occur. In most cases, though, once fire ambulance shows up, you step back. I don't think you'll ever be involved in it. Most likely it would be someone like Kevin if there's a road incident. You know, things we've had is like when a car went into the ditch, when we have the electrical lines come down. We had a roof fall on the turnpike overpass once with a bad storm that also toppled some of the large transmission towers. So, you know, it's again, you're probably rarely going to be called into those types of incidences. But you have to take that training. There's also the policy manual training, including the records policy. There's going to be the Phase 2 MS4 stormwater management. A lot of that you can get from the EPA. The county will always have the annual stormwater meeting that is usually concurrent with one of Lorraine County Township Association meetings, so people don't have to have another meeting night. Auditor of State will have fraud training and reporting, cybersecurity, and public records. Those are all available on the auditor's website. Cybersecurity is probably about an hour and a half. I forget what fraud reporting, how long that took. Public records can be a 3-hour course, but the way we've got it set up per revised code 109.43 is our policy manual designates the fiscal officer as the keeper of the records. So Chris is the point person on that. So anyone that asks for public records we're always going back there, and then it's up to Chris generally if there's, you know, if it's something simple, the record's just given. Like we had just at the one meeting, somebody asked for the financials, and I think you handed them your copy. But if it's anything where we can see that it's going to be something that's actually a legal situation, we will work with the prosecutor on that to go over what the request is. But I still encourage you to do that records training. I've been through it several times myself. I'm not going to say it's interesting because it's not, but it is going to be a requirement that you understand it. I don't know if they have that training at the current OTA Winter Conference. I did not go over the details on that. In the past, when new trustees were coming in, it seemed like they always had that, but I don't recall when I looked at it a couple months ago, I didn't see that on there, but things could have changed. The ethics training is also one that's going to be required, and I've got the website actually listed on there where to go for the ethics training. Why that isn't right in with the auditor estate also, I have no idea. I guess they just want to complicate things, so you have to go to more different locations to get the training. And then also the township, Amherst Township, along with, I believe, all the townships in Lorraine County now have finally signed on. We had one that wasn't for a while, which caused us to pay a little extra. We actually pay an annual subscription fee for webinars that are offered both live and also taped on the OTA's website. And we did that because we found out with individuals taking training, we were spending more money for that than paying for each webinar, so it's better just to pay an annual subscription. And depending upon what the topic has, typically people will look at those individually, but when there are those important ones, is we've actually had it displayed on the larger screen in here, and we'll just come in as a group, and it makes it a little easier for people to talk about it, make sure that everybody understood what's going on and why they're taking it. So that's it, unless you guys have any other questions on training. Our policy, our adequacy and affirmative action policy, even with the new changes that the current administration has put in at the federal level, we don't require any change because we never changed ours back when they started the specifics on putting in specific DEI. I believe that our affirmative action policy was always good, and the reason that was required is because of certain grants that we would apply for, specifically when there's federal dollars involved in them. So we're now down to EE, and this we're going, let's see, I'm going to make a motion to accept the policy manual as amended, and the fiscal officer shall send a copy of the personnel policy with vacation sick time conversion plan to OPERS for annual approval if required. So I'll make that motion.
Second.
And if you give me a moment, there's going to be some discussion here.
Where are we at here? This is number...
EE.
EE.
Yeah, I know EE.
Well, now let me catch up here, David,
Probably this
because...
page, David. This packet. This
Okay, you should have in your packet, yeah, Chris has it. This is what you're gonna be looking for. I see
Well,
Denny's got
29.
his out.
No. Yeah, 29. You're right. But you need this.
Yes. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. I know it was in here. I know I saw it.
A lot of papers.
Yeah.
Only when you find it, David.
Here.
Paper clip.
Right. I don't see the paper clip though.
Hmm.
Where was it?
Oh,
There it is. There it is. It's getting shuffled here.
Okay, you ready? All right, I'm not gonna go through the first page. The real meat is going to be, go through the summary, is the page, if you flip it over, David, the page that looks like this. You looking? Heads up, David.
I'm looking. I'm getting to that page with summary.
You got it?
I'm getting there. Hold on.
Summary of changes. Okay.
Don't get there, I'm gonna start, David, without you.
Second.
Go ahead.
It's like the third page in, David.
4.
If you're visual, look at this.
What's more? Where the first red is or what?
This back page, just one more.
Page 2 of 3. Oh, there's summary sheet there.
Okay, ready?
We're ready.
All right, table of contents is just, that's where we have our revision control, which is all explained in the policy. So this is just showing which chapters and appendices were updated. So the only thing that changed is the revision date. Obviously, chapter 22, which will be cybersecurity, had some additional comments put in there to meet the current statute that we have to meet by July of 2026. So that had some additional pages put in. But that's the only one of substance that's listed there. So if we go to the personnel policy, this is the one where for our Zoning Commission and Board of Zoning Appeals, we added some significant verbiage here. And I don't recall, we probably did not discuss this in executive session because we found out subsequent to that, when Chris got her timesheets, that we see that the Zoning Commission, when there's a site plan review, there's a requirement for a preliminary site plan review and a final site plan review. I just know back in my time on the Zoning Commission, I was told there was nothing in writing at that time, that's all one meeting and you only charge one meeting. Well, since then we've put in documentation, we've got our policy, we've been adjusting it as things come up. Well, I can see where people could have misread that, and we noticed that since there were many site plan reviews this past year, way more than we've seen in the past, and that's probably because of the development going on, both commercial and residential, that we saw that huge increase in cost for zoning. Realize we try to recover some of this cost, and we'll get into that later too. But they were charging too, and I think, Chris, you went back to the previous year and it was the same thing. So I can't say when this started, but we thought we got to get that cleaned up, and I'm hoping, since we didn't discuss this in executive session, that the trustees are agreeable. If not, we got to adjust the verbiage some more. But essentially, we've changed that policy to make it clear that there's no additional compensation for the preliminary. It's all in the final site plan review. So it's only one review. Now, obviously, some things, since the architect may look at it twice, and we may have the fire prevention officer get in twice, well, they're billable by hour. So, that never mattered between preliminary and final as far as their costs. So it's really just the zoning commission, and I haven't discussed this with the zoning commission board yet, but will, that in the future, and I think those people are going to be okay with, but just so they understand, going forward, that's going to reduce the compensation going to them, which isn't a huge amount anyway, and we'll get into what that adjustment's going to be when we get to the fee schedules. So I mean, has that been the understanding of the trustees in the past for site plan review? And again, I know there wasn't a whole lot of activity. I imagine before I became a trustee, it might have even been less. But do you recall, David, and we actually had, I don't even know if your previous zoning, previous to, say, 2000, if that even had site plan review in it.
Oh, it didn't.
Okay, so it's just been since 2000.
Can't recall what the compensation
I thought it was
structure was.
pretty clear. But
Yeah,
obviously,
I've read it, you can read it
both ways.
either way, yeah. And I can tell even when we first changed it, because Georgianne took a pass at it, no, can't do that because it can still be read. So we've made it real clear now. Let's see, it should have, if you go to in your packet also is the actual policy.
Yeah, the second set of stapled papers, David.
What's that, Georgianne?
The second set of stapled papers is the actual documentation from the
Yeah.
policy manual.
Yeah, so it's very clear here for the Board of Zoning Appeal, or the Zoning Commission, is no additional compensation is provided for preliminary site plan review, period. The Board of Zoning Appeals, Regular meeting that immediately follows a public hearing will be considered only one meeting through the entirety of the compensation for compensation purposes. So again, in this case, it's not half, but for the zoning board themselves, which can be 7 members generally if they all show up, is they'll only be paid for the one site plan review. So they will get paid for the meeting, they will get paid for the site plan review, because most of their time should be spent prior to the meeting and reviewing that site plan before they actually come into the meeting. But it's all treated as one between the preliminary and the final. If you guys are okay with that, that's the way it's going to go.
That's the way I'm okay
You know,
with that.
we haven't gone back beyond the last 2 years to see if anything else was changed, but we just want to get this firmed up going forward. You okay with that one, David? I can move on, and we'll discuss that with the zoning commission at their org meeting.
Yeah, for right now.
Okay, the other item is going to be the training policy. On the training policy in Chapter 4, and this came up 2 places where there were training, and this happened more with the BZA. The one was the training that was provided off-site by the prosecutor's office, and the other one was when we brought everybody in for the cybersecurity training that we did here as a group at the township. And the question came up as far as, they want to record that on their timesheets. And it was hard, well, what do I say? Because we didn't have anything specific in there. The only training we talked about was for new people coming on the board. And that new training is just where it's not required. It was an option that they come in and sit with the zoning inspector. And the policy very specifically states what type of, let me get to that, number 4, what training is going to be done with a new member, because I can tell you one of the most difficult things, and Kirsten, you might even remember this, is trying to get a new person to step up to serve on the zoning commission or the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then the next toughest thing is getting one of them to agree to be the chair. It's very tough. Now, once people get in, get used to it, then I think it's probably hard to get them off, until they get to a certain level and it conflicts, because they do take an interest in their community and they see the importance of the work, but it's just that it's something new. You're talking about people's property rights, and that can sometimes put you in difficult situations. So what we've done is in this training, is we do talk about the formal training, but now we're talking there's going to be 2 types of training that are available. The training program provided by the zoning inspector and the training opportunity that's provided by others. So the training by the zoning inspector, that's going to be the same. So, Ryan, if somebody chooses, and we do have an opening for an alternate on the BZA, and I think it was, yes, on the BZA, because we had one person resign who's also serves on our ambulance district, but she's still there, thank God, because she's got a lot of experience in that arena, but it just conflicted with the job promotion that she had in the private sector. But when we get a new person, I'm hoping to get someone that's not from Hidden Valley, someone from one of the other areas. So Jeremy, I'm going to be looking to you, because I've been talking with people in other areas, and so far you get nibbles, and once they think about it, they turn it down. But the interesting thing was that people ask about training, and I could say right away, oh yes, the training's available. But for the zoning inspector, during his regular business hours, he'll review what the zoning map is, go over the different districts, the comprehensive plan that's there and how that relates to the zoning resolution, various township records and forms regarding zoning permit applications, zoning amendments, conditional uses, site plan review, a relationship to county planning commission, county prosecutor's office, etc. Any other training that the zoning inspector determines is important. So that's going to be paid at, in the past, we had that paid at one particular rate, and that was at the time a rate of E, which E was $16.36 an hour. So it's hard to get anybody excited about $16.36 an hour. So what we've done to encourage, because we want people to get this training, is we're putting it at B1, which was in 2025, 24.32, with a 3% increase will be 25.05 per hour. So regardless of the type of training, we're saying B1 up to 20 hours annually. So now the new training, we're saying additional training opportunities may be available within Lorraine County through the Ohio Township Association webinars, Lorraine County Prosecutor's Office, Lorraine County Community Development, other planning organizations. So this is a substantive change that we did not discuss. So it's a question, are the trustees comfortable with this?
They are
Yes, I'm
set up in
comfortable
the
with it.
payroll as annual, so I can't pay them any other time throughout the year.
Well, this is annual, right?
No, it's saying that the zoning inspector shall sign and approve the training timesheet prior to the timesheet being submitted to the fiscal officer. Timesheets should be submitted to the fiscal officer immediately after the fiscal month within which the training occurred.
But it's not necessarily paying them.
I don't know
You
why it
want
just wouldn't go on their
that change to
timesheet.
be provided annually, because then it's a matter of as long as they don't forget. I think this is easier if they're sitting with the zoning inspector. It's going to be fresh in his mind if we're asking them to sign it.
You can submit it, but
And that's
if you
another
do
line item
training-
that has to be created within their pay thing for a B1.
If you do training in January, February, March, are you going to remember it in December when it comes time to turn in paperwork for the year? Maybe that should just be kept on the timesheet, meeting sheet, so many hours training. You go down as you list your meetings. You went to this meeting in January, and then end of January I went to training, 2.5 hours, and then just keep going down, meeting February, March, April, and maybe in May more training. Another-
Unfortunately, they don't keep their timesheets like that. They try and fill it out at the end of the year and remember what they did all year long.
Which
They
meetings
were
did I
a
go
nightmare
to?
this last time. Brian and I are coming up with an idea to hopefully remedy that.
So you just want me to cross out?
But training,
the
no,
last
I'm just saying
clause?
you're adding another wage class to them that's going to have to go into their,
Well, there was
into
a
the
wage
UAM.
class E there before, it's just that we haven't had a lot of changeover.
I don't have
so-
a wage class E in there. I have two. There's either a secretary or per meeting is the only thing that's in there that they can get
Okay.
paid.
And what's it take to add that in there?
More time. But I don't think, they never got paid for training. Since
Well,
I've been
again,
doing it. They
it's
just
be-
put in for an out that they
They
were.
haven't, that was the question. First off, we haven't had a new person in a while that would have gone in and sat with the zoning inspector, okay? So you haven't seen that, and that's where the question came up when they were sitting here for the cybersecurity. They wanted to turn in the BZA, wanted to turn in training, and I said, we don't have anything for that. So what we're trying to do is clarify this in the policy. I can tell you, some of them wanted to be compensated, and they did. It took several hours sitting here.
They all have whatever the secretary wage is, so
Well, let me get to that. Like I said, I wish we would have discussed this at an executive session, but it hadn't come up then.
The secretarial wage is also B1.
Yeah, it's B1, the secretary's B1?
Yes.
That's what I was looking for, was the next, where the resolution is for, so it's
then
really,
all
then
we have to
it's,
do, they
then
can,
it's no
on the sheet
different.
is put secretarial training.
So on their timesheets, they either have been writing down for a meeting or they've been writing down hours, and the hours are calculated at B1 rate on the electronic timesheets, and then they're added together.
So you won't need a different rate than Chris
Nope.
is saying. So do you want, though, that last clause, immediately after the fiscal month within which the training was occurred, you want that crossed out?
Correct. Yeah, I would like that cross. They're just going to have to put it on their timesheet.
Okay. And we've got the timesheets right now signed by the board chair, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know how the board chair is going to know the zoning inspector, that someone sat with the zoning inspector.
We'll use the sheet. I just created a sheet for them that is hopefully going to make it easier for them to remember what meetings they were at.
But I mean, as far as training, if
Right.
this is just going to be a new person coming in?
Ryan could use the same sheet and just say that that person was training with the zoning inspector and how many hours.
Okay. So if we just cross out that clause, we're okay. And you're okay with the...
One is good. If
Okay,
it's the same rate, it's good.
okay.
And we're going to just delete the last sentence, correct?
Correct. It's just right after submitted to the fiscal officer,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. And then that last
Delete
sentence.
that clause.
Like I say.
So immediately after, from there, cross it out, David.
Oh,
Okay.
the immediately. All right, all right. We're not going to delete the whole last sentence, just the
No,
last part of the
Nope.
last sentence.
Just
Because
that last
we'll have
clause.
a form.
Yeah, because they got to turn in a timesheet. Okay?
Okay,
And
yeah.
that was the last, that's where
And it
we
should
got
go to the
chair
fiscal
signing off
officer.
on. Correct. Okay? All right, get back to changes. Okay, the cemetery policy, this one's, it's pretty nondescript. All this was updating the actual deed itself, and some of it is just formatting because the way the words were spread across it to make it all left justified versus block justified. And then within the policy, it actually listed the trustees' names. We took that off and just put blanks that say trustee, because obviously the trustees can change. Now, Linda will actually have the deed itself that she can add the trustees' names in, so that when you do get a new plot purchase, obviously it's presented to the trustees for your signature. And she can put in the names of whoever the trustees are at that particular time. So that's the only change in the cemetery policy. Next is the cybersecurity. This is where, again, we've been keeping on the agenda that we knew July of 2026 is we'd have to update this based on the changes that the legislature did and added to the revised code section 9.64. So there was a policy statement put out by the OTA. It was reviewed by the Lorraine County prosecutor. And since we already had a cybersecurity policy that went well beyond what the policy the OTA put out, we thought that the information we had in there was substantive also and important to do. And we had worked that out with OTARMA in the past and had them come in to review our operations. Even as simple as where we've got the doors are supposed to be locked when you enter, and we had the security put up. So what we've done is taken that policy that was provided by the OTA, approved by the prosecutor. It's essentially just become the first introductory portion, if you will, of our current cybersecurity policy. So if you flip through the pages there for the cybersecurity policy, you can see everything that's in red, because this time it did get put in color. That is the portion that was provided by the OTA. So it doesn't, and so then you go on with the clean desk policy, and there's other items here. The whole thing isn't printed out because it's 9 pages long. Nothing else changed. This is just showing where we put the addition here for cybersecurity. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, we've met the requirements on this. And the auditor just says that you set policies and procedures appropriate for the size and your operation. So, realize they're dealing with everything for government entities from the state level down to the townships, which is probably the smallest unit of governance that they have. Okay, Appendix A, that just deals with the compensation for competitive bidding and the zoning, the zoning boards. And remember, we pulled out and we just list the appendix. We're putting in here another increase of the 3%. And for the zoning board, so that would be at $46 per meeting. So there's no hourly rate. It doesn't matter if the meeting goes long, as some of them do, and most of the time should be in preparation prior to the meeting. So it's $46 per meeting. And the competitive bidding threshold we set will go up to $19,000. Realize that is significantly less than what the statute requires. But we don't do it as a formal bid. We've got Kevin predominantly tries to get 3 estimates on things that we need, since they do tend to be within the road department or for structure. And, it just gives us another level to look at, but more of an informal process. And then Appendix C, that is the fee schedule. Again, the fee schedule, what we've done here, and you can see all the markup, all the fees were increased by 3% with the exception of the site plan review. You should have seen from Linda, she had sent out a spreadsheet on the analysis of what our cost is on site plan review. Site plan reviews were actually costing us money. Essentially, when we looked, this is just the cost. Our cost, it was just a hair under $1,275. When you add in the cost for the zoning boards, the architect, the fire prevention officer in there, it was actually in the secretarial services, the publications that go out, this was actually costing money we had it at $896. If we just did a 3% increase, it would go to roughly $924. So the proposal is to put site plan review at $1,275 to recover our costs. All the other costs would just simply go up by 3%, with this all being effective January 1 of 2026. So it'll have no impact on the site plan reviews that you've got on the docket right now, Ryan. Okay? And that's it as far as any of the policy changes. You okay with that? So other than changing the one for the training for zoning, everything's okay to implement these changes?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
As we know, that the amended
Oh,
policy manual, the amendments are as discussed as, the only real change from what was presented was deletion of that, part of that one sentence.
Correct.
About submitting the timesheets.
Correct.
So, considering that, considering this to be the amendment, including that deletion, then,
Yeah, well, we've got a C addendum, and Chris, you would have crossed that out already, right? Georgianne will get the formal, or work with Linda and get it all cleaned up and put in your policy manual.
So
As
that-
you're aware, the policy manual is all electronic. You'll get an electronic copy, and there's one paper copy kept here at the township. Okay. So we're ready for roll call then for item EE?
Yep. Lynch,
Yes.
Abraham,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
And Neil, if you can go back to and cover the one item, just to clarify and verify with everyone that I will not be having a members page on our website due to lack of use.
Yeah, this was where you needed a password, and we also had all this information for an intranet, if you will, that people could go and see it if they didn't keep it in a separate folder in their email. But we found out in the data coming through the website, I think in the past year, it was only used 3 times. I'm sure I was one of those. So there's a cost of maintaining that, so if it's not being used, and since people receive all this electronically anyway, and we have a paper copy here, we just want to do away with that maintenance so that we don't have that added cost of doing it. It's one less thing to do. So thanks, Georgianne. So that's it as far as policy manual review.
FF?
Yep, FF, personal information designee, this is another requirement by statute, so I'll make a motion to appoint the fiscal officer as the personal information designee.
Second.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And GG is supplemental appropriations and wire transfers. This is to authorize the fiscal officer to make supplemental appropriations and wire transfers as needed in 2025 and to provide and execute all necessary documents effective December 23rd, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 for the year-end close activity, including but not limited to transfers, advances, repayments, appropriations, wire transfers, requisitions, travel, bills, payroll-related transactions and payments, and all other necessary and urgent documents as needed with reservation. That'll be my motion.
Second.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And that is 31, Chris?
That is.
Okay, the rental property review, you have the addendum there to sign, David. The only change there, our road superintendent had asked, where in the past we allowed the leasee to use the township's waste containers, but there's been too much, and predominantly in the summertime, of food items in there, bringing in a lot of infestations of flies and whatnot. So we're asking that the only change, there's no increase in cost, monthly fees, but that they are going to be responsible for their own solid waste and recyclables, so they'll be getting that at picking up that cost themselves. So if you can just sign that and get that back to Linda.
Yeah.
The next one, the OTA conference attendees. This is a motion to authorize township administrator, township zoning inspector, township administrative assistant, media technology operator to attend the OTA winter conference and pay any travel, hotel, meal expenses associated with the conference.
Second.
I guess I made that then, huh? Okay. All right.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring.
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And if anyone's going, please make the fiscal officer aware so that if anybody is going to the conference, please make
I'm
the fiscal
going,
officer
Jeremy's
aware.
going. Looking at you, David, so.
I
you
don't
can-
know yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Well, I need to
my
know for
mind.
budget reasons.
I know. I'll let you know when
Okay, the next 2 items, so we're on JJ. These were at the Amherst Fire Department. We'll be going up to Pierce Manufacturing to have the discussion review of all the specifications for the 3,000-gallon Pierce Enforcer tanker. And Tim Gates, Assistant Fire Chief for Amherst, contacted me because, when they're up there reviewing this, there may be some changes, could be some deletions, could be some additions. Realize this is, when this was bid, we did it through Sourcewell, which is a multi-state cooperative purchasing that we're part of. and to get that bid price. But, so any changes could be an increase or a decrease. And Tim couldn't give a number on that. I kept, he just wanted to make sure they had that flexibility. And I let him know, I can't make that decision unilaterally. It has to be the board. So that being the case, we had to pick some number so that they can get things decided in their visit there from January 5th through the 7th. I know at least 2, there may be at least 3 going up. The purchase agreement covers a cost of 2 trips of up to 5 firefighters per trip. So what I did is put together this prepared resolution that the Amherst Fire Department is authorized to make modifications of 3,000-gallon Pierce Enforcer tanker specifications to improve the safety and efficiency of the Amherst Fire Department service provisions at a cost not to exceed $50,000. So all that does is give them a threshold in there, and he thinks that it's not going to be anywhere near that, but we just wanted to give something where they, don't have to then come back to us, because then we'll be paying for the cost of another trip. And this happened, going to Wisconsin, this is actually an air trip, so they'll be flying up there, which is covered in the original purchase agreement. So that's what this is, and I'll make this motion.
Second.
Lynch,
Yes.
Euring,
Yes.
Abraham.
Yes.
And you have 1233 on that, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, the next item, there's also a prepared resolution dealing with the fire truck. Now, this is once we receive the fire truck, which is, it could be this year, could be, most likely it's going to be in 2027, is the plan was this time is to take all of the equipment that's mounted the existing tanker, transfer it to the new tanker. And it will require some additional bracketry and hangers and whatnot to do that. And the Amherst Fire Department in the past has done it different ways. Sometimes they do that in-house, but that means you're taking firefighters and doing drilling and tapping or putting inserts in and whatnot. It's not something they do on a regular basis. So there is an option here, and this is the way Amherst is doing their newer vehicles. And that's where they actually take it to a third party. It'd be similar to us using Judco, is they take it to a third party to have that hardware done and transfer all the equipment from the existing tanker to the new tanker. And the other advantage is, one, having a third party do this, it all can be done in a week. So we'd only have the vehicle out of service for 1 week. And the other advantage is it doesn't leave holes in the existing tanker, which we plan on reselling. That hasn't been decided yet if it'll be sold ourselves. The Amherst Fire Department is aware of 2 other smaller departments that have a need for this tanker, but because of the production cycle time, they may pick up a new vehicle before we can try and work out a deal. There's also third parties that will take that, just like you would with a used vehicle, can do it with used fire trucks. And this truck was in 2003, so it's now a little over 22 years old. But the real thing you want on there is more the pump and the seals and whatnot that you have running, and those have been maintained and over the past few years. So this one also was trying to come down with the number, so is that this is a resolution authorizing Amherst Fire Department to outfit the new 3,000-gallon Pierce Enforcer tanker with hardware required to mount firefighting tools and equipment, and to transfer the tools and equipment from the existing tanker to the new tanker at a cost not to exceed $20,000. So that'll be my motion.
Second.
And I know I have in here, I didn't want to tie them into the person they've been using. They've been using, I've got it in the whereases here somewhere, but I want to, it's called Sensible Products of Richfield, Ohio. And they may still use them since it's not, it's here in Ohio, but I didn't want to put in the actual motion itself that they have to use Sensible, because who knows what'll come up over the next year. They might find another person, but most likely it's going to go to Sensible Products in Richfield to do this, and they work on many other fire vehicles. Okay, roll call then, Chris?
Lynch?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Abraham?
Yes.
And that was 12:34,
That
correct?
was 12:34. On the money.
We're still coordinated.
Okay, our next regular meeting will be on Monday. That's the only one that's going to be different from the policy, so I'll have to post this, because the policy says we meet on the second and fourth Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock. So our next meeting will be on Monday, January 5th, 2026, at 7 o'clock p.m.
That'll be the organizational meeting.
Yes, that'll be the organizational meeting. It's, even though there's nothing in the statute that calls it organizational. It was just in effective March of 2019 that you hold a meeting and appoint a president or chairman. You can use either one. Any need you see for a special meeting, Kevin? I think you're all up to speed. Okay.
Did we decide if we were canceling then the following Tuesday?
Yes, we decided that at the last meeting. So when I put the posting up, it'll do that, so that, we're holding the January 5th instead of which would have been the 13th. So January 13th will be canceled. Okay. Are there any audience concerns or questions? Okay. Is there any other business?
No.
Anything? I'll make a motion.
Say thank you to Denny.
Huh?
For his
I
many
did
years of
coming in. Oh,
service.
yeah, this is Denny's last meeting, so I guess it's really, do you have anything to say, Denny?
No, I don't have anything to say.
After 36
Six?
years? Thank you, Denny.
Oh, Denny.
Motion? Oh, do you want to say something, Dave?
I
Thank you
make a
for your
motion
service.
that we adjourn.
And
Yeah, we gotta let Denny do that.
thank you for your service and happy retirement.
Okay.
Enjoy.
You wanna second that, David?
What was
The adjournment?
second?
David, or Denny made the motion.
Abraham?
Yes.
Euring?
Yes.
Lynch?
Yes, that'll be 12:35.
That is 12:35:25.
All right.